Hi everyone, this is Rachel from Mini Ministry. Today is the last Tuesday in September 2020, and tonight we will be getting ready for a first event. Tonight will be our first presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. I am not here to discuss politics with you. I am not here to tell you which way to vote, and I'm not here to tell you which way I'm going to vote. Because frankly, it doesn't really matter in the context of what we're going to talk about today. Instead, I want to ask you a question. Do people know your political affiliations and your political ties and how you feel about things more than they know about your faith with Jesus Christ? It seems every time an election comes out, people come out of the woodwork and there's nothing but hatred and fact-checking and slanderous things that are being spewed, both in debates and political forums, as well as on things like online, on Twitter and Facebook and things of that nature. But it got me thinking. I have some friends and family who I would call Christians, people I know their faith in the Lord. And let me tell you what, some of the things that get spewed out of their mouths, I question, are they really believers? Because some of the things you're saying are not very Christ-like. The political season brings out the worst in people, it seems like. People just want to argue. People just want to talk. People just want to hear the sound of their own voice, it feels like. And as we get closer and closer to election time, it gets worse and worse. I don't watch TV much, anyways, but little less known in political season because I just get sick of the ads. It's hard to tell who's right and who's wrong anymore and to know which way to go. But there is a way to tell of how we should act. Because the Bible completely expels to us exactly who we are as Christians. We are to use words that uplift and not tear down. We are not to be people of slander, people of hate. We are to love our neighbor as ourselves. We are to not be judgmental, but only judge righteously. We are to love one another as we love ourselves. We are to be in the world, but not of the world. And it seems like when political season happens, some of that just goes out the window. Do you ever feel like that? Like all of a sudden, all the tact and all the respect that people had, it just kind of disappears in political season. And that makes me sad. Because we are believers first, Christians first, Christ followers first, and Americans second. Our allegiance, first and foremost, goes to the creator of this universe. Okay? Because no matter who is president, he is still on the throne. And I think we forget that. We get so caught up in the debates and the conversations and the fact-checking and all this stuff that's going on, and we almost forget that God is still sovereign, that God is still good, and God is still there. My friends, we need to step back, and we need to look at things from our biblical worldview. A couple weeks ago, I talked about looking at things through your worldview. If you haven't seen that video, now might be a good time to go watch that. It is so important that even in the context of politics and our elections, we look at it through a biblical worldview. What do I mean by that? That means that when I go to vote for a candidate, or when you go to vote for a candidate, it's not just about who sounds the best, who looks the best, who was the most convincing. How many of their things line up to the biblical thought? That's what we need to be going by. And my friends, that is what we should be voting for on Election Day. No politician is the answer to our prayers. It's sad, but it's true, because they're fallen just like we are. No politician is going to save this world. Jesus already did that. We are looking for something that can't really happen. Now, there are certain men that are going to be better for the job than others. And our job is to try to wafer through all of the garbage, through all of the questionability, through all of the personification of people, and to see when it comes down to certain things, what is it that they believe about that? There are things that the Bible makes clear that are sinful behavior, things that are abominations to the Lord, things that he does not want us to do. They're unquestionable. Do the people running for office agree or disagree with those things? Those are the kind of questions we need to find the answers to. Don't get me wrong. I care about, climate change and global warming and taxes and, all this kind of stuff. I care. But our first allegiance is to God. and his word. And that's how we need to be viewing all of this. Tonight, I am intending on watching this debate. I'm watching it because I want to know. I'm going to vote in November, and I like to be well informed. But I'm going into it not as a person who sits there and makes all these assumptions. I'm going with open ears and open eyes and an open heart and prayerfully seeking God's wisdom in hearing the truth and discerning where I need to put my vote. I ask all of you brothers and sisters to do the same. We are living in an unprecedented time. We are still going through this pandemic. We have different mandates and laws with masks. Cities have seen some unrest this year. There have been riots and there's chaos amongst us. My friends, the darkness seems to be getting a little bit darker. But we hold the light. And so when we go to vote in November, or if you have early voting before that, when we place our vote this fall, think about that. Are you voting biblically, or are you voting just as an American politically? Because there is a difference, right? So I just want to challenge you to really think those through today. I can't get over the amount of stuff I'm seeing of people who are claiming Christianity but are saying things that are hurtful and mean. And you know what? You're not just a Christian on Sunday. You're a Christian every single day, because that's what you are, a follower of Christ. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is, what time of year. There's a holiday. You get no breaks. Being a Christ follower is a life decision. We need to act like it. We need to act like it by what we post, by what we say, by what we wear, by what we do, by what we read and watch, but also by how we vote. All of these things matter. I just want to encourage you guys today. Don't get caught up in the political trap. Do not get caught up in the insanity that the political spectrum creates. Because it's nuts. You're going to watch on that stage tonight, and there's going to be mud flinging like you have never seen before. Okay? There is going to be anger and maybe hatred, and lies are going to be told, and facts are going to be told. You know what? We have to sit with open ears and open eyes and open heart and discern this through the word the best that we can. So I encourage you today to look at it through that way. I was thinking of Joshua, I think it's 24:15, which says, "But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." And that isn't everything. That is in how we vote. That is in how we live our lives. As for me and my house, we serve God. So in every aspect of our lives, that's our boundary limit. Okay? Is what we are doing glorifying God? If it's not, we shouldn't be doing that. And that includes how we vote. So I want you to be in prayer as we enter into this election season. I want you to watch the debates. I want you to be aware of what's going on in the world. But I want you to seek God for his wisdom and seek his word for wisdom. And pray as we see what comes next for America. I hope you have a blessed day and a great week. Until next time.